So you're bored with pinning, you don't know what to create, and you're just looking to get some pins in your queue because you know it's important. Listen, we've all been there, including myself. I'm actually there right now. So because I am there and I know other people in my community are probably feeling the same thing, we are coming to the end of the year. If you're watching this much later than when this was filmed, right now is Halloween 2023, today, okay? So we are diving headlong into a holiday marketing season and time off, not only for myself, but other people in the community. So with that being said, you might be looking for some ways to create some Pinterest content without having to recreate the wheel. Today, I'm bringing you 3 ideas to do just that without having to recreate the wheel. So what I want to do is actually walk you behind the scenes and show you my process of what I do when I'm looking for things to pin without having to make brand new designs, without having to spend hours in Canva. Let's just dive in, shall we? When I am looking to schedule content for Pinterest is Repurpose.io. I like to hop into my Repurpose.io dashboard because I do frequently create content on TikTok and other platforms. I look in my workflows to see what I have to repurpose. So I have a few active workflows here that you can see. And you can see I have shorts to Pinterest, new TikTok to Pinterest folder. I had to set up a new workflow. And then YouTube shorts to, or YouTube to shorts, and it's actually a Google Drive. And then the main one that I use down here is TikTok to Google Drive. So this is the one that we're gonna take a look at. Now there is an Instagram to TikTok that sometimes I create first on Instagram. My content is literally all over the place. You can find me anywhere on the internet. But when I'm looking to be really strategic with the content I'm creating, I'm usually visiting my TikTok workflow in Repurpose.io. Not only does it have the most, but I create very strategically for other platforms on TikTok. So keep that in mind. Where do you create strategically? Now what I'm gonna do is come in here and see where I can pull content. So Tailwind Copilot, this is actually a really good option for me right here. So I would look to download this one. Now, website options to claim your Pinterest tags with link pages. This is actually a really good one, and I can use some keywords on Pinterest that are like Instagram links pages, those kind of keywords. I'm basically just gonna look through here and see what content I can find that is appropriate 4 minutes or less for Pinterest that people would search for on Pinterest. So bulk create, I know that's a good one. Magic Studio is probably a good one. So I can come in and actually pull these out. Now these are going to my Google Drive folder. So all I have to do is actually pull that open. So if I go to ClickUp, I'll show you my repurposing list. And all I have to do is click and open those boards. In my ClickUp list for Repurpose.io, because I have a Zap going, all I have to do is visit this list. All of these are ready to go for me to put in other places. Now, some of these are not appropriate, so this just for fun one I wouldn't do. Some of these are not appropriate for Pinterest. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the repurposing, and then what I can do is I can Control F, or I can search inside here to find that task. Now, the next place that I'm going to go is actually Tailwind. This might be a given for some, but others it might not be. So if you are using Tailwind and you're wondering how you can use more of the features within the tool, I use Tailwind Pin Inspector. So what I'm gonna do is go to Insights in Pin Inspector. Now I'm not gonna repin these same pins, but what I'm looking for is what did well previously. What did well previously is probably going to do well for me again, and I know for a fact if it's anything to do with Pinterest ads, for me it's going to do well, or ChatGPT. Now this is taking forever to load, but what I would do is I would look at this list of pins, see what did well, and I would recreate it. So this one did really well for me right here. So all I have to do is go into Canva, pull up this Pinterest pin, and then recreate this. And that's it. So don't recreate the wheel here. Now, another way that you cannot recreate the wheel is simply just going into Pinterest, opening up your old Pinterest designs for evergreen content that you have right now, stuff that you know people are looking for actively on the platform, and simply edit these. So this version right here, I could just simply click and make a copy of this, and then swap out the images, swap out the text overlay slightly, and I'm off to the races. Alternatively, so this is one that did well before that I just opened from Tailwind, right? This is the orange version. This is the green version. So I can go ahead and reschedule this. I don't know that I've actually used this one before. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just swap out some imagery or some text. You could even go as far as just changing colors. So a free Pinterest guide. This is actually my strategy guide and not the ChatGPT one. And I can change the text. So get more. It's the same imagery. That's okay. I'm not really concerned about that part. I'm going to lock that component and I'm going to move this slightly. And then you can just change out the branding. So I'm going to put my white logo on there. And now I have a new Pinterest pin there. I can do the same thing with all of these pins. Just change out the imagery. So I have a lot of pins that I have created over the years in here, and all I have to do is just change the images and the text is fine. So stop doing this if you want to see success on Pinterest. I have a video and I have a blog post that I can send this to. Now, another thing that you can do that a lot of people actually don't do is if you have a YouTube channel or a podcast and a blog, a lot of people aren't actually maximizing sending traffic to those other places. So I could take the same exact Pinterest pin right here. I typically do like to change the image and the text overlay a little bit. So swap out the image, change the text overlay a little bit, or at the very least, image and color. And then I'm going to send this to an alternate URL. So for myself, I have products listed on Shopify, Etsy, Thrivecart. My website has URLs for blogs and landing pages. And then I have videos on YouTube. So out of all 6 of those places, I have different URLs that I can send each of my Pinterest pins. So if you're not thinking about maximizing your URLs in that way and utilizing your Pinterest pins to send them to new URLs, you definitely should. So that's the third option. Now, obviously, all of these I would download and then upload them to my Tailwind queue in my drafts. And I would come over here and I would just upload them in here. Once they're in here, I would come in and edit them, add a description and a title and the URL, and off to the races we go. Now, this is going to take you a lot less time than creating pins from scratch, which is the point, especially when you're in a phase where you don't know what to pin, you don't feel like pinning, and you just want to make sure that you get content in your queue, but you're also being really strategic. See, there's a big difference between just simply throwing pins up and being thoughtful with what you're creating. Because you've put a lot of thought into past pins, past keywords, descriptions, titles, why not let's repurpose some of that, change the images a little bit, change the text overlay a little bit. That's the whole point of having templates, okay? So give that a go, and I am wishing you all the best. Okay, now that you know the 3 different pin types that I am looking for, or ways that I can fill my queue without having to recreate that wheel, you might want to head on over here and watch some more Pinterest marketing content, and I will see you there.